4, 3.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about life. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. We are Ramsey personalities, and we each host shows on the Ramsey Network. And so we are here with you this hour to take your calls. 888-825-5225. It is a free call, 888-825-5225. Dr. John Deloney will take calls on your mental, emotional health, relationships. We'll talk about ugly work stuff because that's what I talk about. And we'll take your career questions, your work questions. Hey, Ken, I'm on the ladder. I want to get up the ladder. I want to get promoted. I need to get started in something else, whatever it is. And, of course, we're going to take your money questions. And John and I love to be together. Doc, always good to be on the big show with you.
You too, man. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you for about 12 hours, I guess.
I know. We're fresh off a wonderful time in Dallas, Texas with Entree Leadership Summit. It's always fun, too, to be in a room. 2,500 leaders.
That was fun.
Fired up to get better.
And Entree throws a party.
Yes, they do. So much fun. 888-825-5225 is the number. Let's get it started with Crystal in Las Vegas, Nevada. Crystal, how can we help?
Hi. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Well, one of the issues I have is that I've been at a company for like 2 years, and I'm not really getting promoted in my career. And I want to move to another city to get a better job, but my boyfriend doesn't want to move, and we want to get married. Now, if I stay in Las Vegas, I can't work anywhere else because as a journalist, we have these things called non-compete. So it's either I stay here and get out of journalism or I move and kind of break up with him.
Yeah, well, let's talk about you for a second. Well, let's forget about him. I'm not real thrilled with him, but we'll get to him in a moment, John. I'm going to have Doc weigh in on this from a relationship standpoint. That's his area. But I do want to get really clear on what your dream is in this other city and why you want to go there. I want you to just tell yourself, not just us. Why do you want to move? Forget him. Why do you want to move? Why is that important?
Because I work a really tough schedule. I work like midnight to 8 a.m. Wednesday through Sunday, and I fall asleep in church, and I don't really have much of an outside life out of work. So I want to find something with a better schedule and that I can kind of move up the ladder with.
There you go. Why? Why'd you get into journalism?
Because I feel like everyone needs to have their story told, and I wanted to be a representative for people of color in different communities and to make sure that everyone's accountable.
Why? Go one level deeper. I love that answer. Tell me why that's important to you.
Because when I was growing up in New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina happened, I felt as a person of color I was personally ignored and no one was paying attention to me, and that inspired me to pursue this career in journalism in which I tell the story of people who are at the bottom and who are being ignored in society.
Wow. John, that's a why.
That's a why. Yeah.
Hey, that's a why.
That one's wired into your soul.
That's from your story, Crystal.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. The reason I just walk you through that is because you need to have that front and center right now. John's going to walk you through the relational piece, but I wanted you to hear you share why it's so important that this isn't a move just for a job. This isn't a move to make your boyfriend uncomfortable. This isn't about you and selfishness. This is about your purpose. This is about your why. You need to make the move. John, I think she makes the move whether he comes or not. And if they're talking marriage and he's not willing to make a move because of that why, right, I got some real problems. John, help me out.
I'm the same. So, Crystal, walk us through. I'm going to call him a knucklehead, and that's my neutral. Right,
that's pretty gentle for you.
It's right down the road, in the middle of the road for me. Tell me about this knucklehead. What a part about your life mission is he not resonating with?
Well, I mean, he's been here for a long time. Like, this is his home city, so I definitely understand it. Everything that he knows and loves is here. Part of me doesn't want to move either. I actually like the city. It's just that I'm not really progressing here at the current company that I'm at.
Mm-hmm. How long is your non-compete for?
For a year.
A year. Have you sat down and dreamt about, and I'm wandering back into Ken's world here, have you dreamt about other ways to tell stories of marginalized people that would allow you to get some experience and some skills, and then in 366 days you slide back into this role?
Yeah, I've thought about starting a small community newspaper for kind of lower income area of the city here.
Crystal, how much money do you need to make?
Not really that much. It's not really about the money at all.
Well, I understand,
but about sleep and sanity.
Sure, you got to pay bills though.
Yeah, we got some realities. How much money do you need to make? You're not married, remember? So this is a boyfriend. He hadn't put a ring on it yet. How much money do you need to make?
Probably $50,000.
Okay, I just want to be real honest with you. John's asking you the right question. There might be some other ways to get to where you want to get to besides moving from Vegas to this job. However, they've got to be realistic. And you starting a community newspaper, you're not going to make $50,000.
You're going to lose $50,000.
Yeah, that is not a reality, and I don't want to let you think that that's a reality.
Right.
I want you to go back to the question John asked you. You didn't answer the question. You just talked about how you understood his point of view because he's always lived in Vegas and everything he loves is in Vegas. Well, it's about ready to not be the case. And if he loves you, I want to know, John asked you a really good question. What part of that vision that you so beautifully shared with us does he not get excited about?
He just doesn't see the need for me to move. He kind of believes that I should be able to start my own thing here, whether it be like a website, TV station, newspaper, etc. I don't think he really has a grasp of
the realities of media,
of journalism.
He needs a grasp of two things. Number one, how media like that actually operates, how long it takes to get up and running, how much money it spends off, and oh, by the way, you have to take care of yourself. You're not relying on boyfriend. I think this is a sit-down conversation, John, where it's like, this is my vision. Now, to John's point, I don't think you have to put all the eggs in this basket of moving out of Las Vegas. However, this move to this new position moves you up the ladder. That was the word I got most excited about. Ladders. What's great about ladders is as we move up, we have other options to move to different places. You could come back to Vegas, but the reality is, Crystal, you are capped. You have a lid on yourself. Your words, your reality, it's a lid where you are now. And if you don't leave soon to do what you know you're supposed to do, whether it's this position, John, where she moves out of Vegas, my concern is she's going to begin to resent the boyfriend.
And I see that over and over and over where people, they don't have the why conversation. They don't get to why. It becomes a job. I want this title. And that's not a reason to move a city.
Never.
But when you're that wired into who you are and your mission on earth, then that's a sit-down conversation, because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that's when the fires of resentment will burn through that relationship, and it's hard to maintain when you have a mission in life.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I wouldn't marry anybody who wasn't on board with what I believe God created me to do.
That's right.
Sorry. Hey, don't move. More Ramsey Show coming right up.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, as we take you through this hour. 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Of course, we're taking your questions about your life, whether that's money questions, or whether that's relationships, mental, emotional health. How about your work? You want to get a bigger shovel so you can get out of debt faster? Well, we'll talk about that as well. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Dallas, Texas. Tony is on the line. Tony, how can we help?
Yeah, the question I have is how does a person deal with their spouse having cancer?
Oh man, I'm sorry, Tony. Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh man, tell us about it.
What? Diagnosed in June of last year with stage 4 breast cancer.
Oh man.
Wow.
I'm sorry, man. So walk us through the last year.
Yeah. She got sick, not feeling well, and she didn't like going to the doctor, which is, a lot of women are like that.
Well, me too. I don't like it either.
Yeah. Finally, she went to the doctor, and she was having some chest pains. Took her to the doctor, and they told her that she needed to see an oncologist. So we took her to the oncologist, and they said she had stage 4 breast cancer, and it had metastasized.
Oh my goodness.
So, how does a person deal with working, and in my situation, away from home?
Yeah.
And dealing with that, and I've got family issues and so forth. Mm-hmm. And how does a person deal with that? The best way to deal with it.
What's so if you look up 10 months later, or 11 months later, what's the status of her health? Have they given her how many weeks left, or months left, or years left, or is this going to be a 3 to 5 year thing?
Doctor, she didn't say. She said it was in several places, and she said she didn't. She said she didn't tell her if she could have 2 months or 2 years. She said it was just. She has gone through chemo, mm-hmm. and she went through the hard chemo, and then she's been through the. She's on the palliative stages now, or the not so corrosive or sure. Bad stuff.
Well, palliative care tells me you're getting to the end here versus.
Well, she's not. She's actually said she's feeling better.
Okay.
But they didn't say she hasn't. She goes to the doctor and she tells me that everything's okay, but.
So Tony, here's what I'm going to do if I'm you, okay? And this is less clinical advice. This is just me as a guy in your neighborhood, okay? I'm going to sit down with my wife, and I want to come to that next doctor appointment. The next time there's these 6-month intervals usually, and if she's in palliative care right now, they're probably monthly, if not every other month. And I would ask to go with her, not because you don't trust her, but because you want to hear from the doctor so that you can understand this, right?
Yeah, they're giving her the treatments every 3 weeks.
Okay, so I would ask, but there's treatments, but then there's also scans and there's updates. So treatments are just going to follow a treatment regimen that's different than here's an update. Here's where we're at. Here's the numbers. Here's what's going on, right? I would ask my wife, and it's her right to tell you no, but I would ask my wife, can I be in that room with you? Can I go with you? A, to support you, and B, so that I can get a status up, so I can hear where we're at. I need to be in that room. I want to feel what's going on here. I get a sense that you think your wife isn't being totally honest with you, or you don't know what's going on. There's just a miscommunication here. And sometimes people love their spouse so much that they say, I'm feeling better. And they're not telling the truth. And not to be ugly or not to be a liar, but to protect and love. And what y'all need right now is a real dose of where are we at. So you ask, how can you handle this? There's not a way to handle this. This is
I hope I should say.
It sucks. It's the worst thing that can happen, other than losing a child. And so you don't.
And that's already happened.
Okay. So you've been down this road. There's not a quote unquote way to deal with this. You hold your wife's hand and y'all walk through this together. And it's hell and it's fire and it's terrible. And you get a group of people in your life outside of your wife that you can trust and go to and cry with and say, what am I supposed to do now? And who will show up at 2 a.m. with hamburgers and tacos and just sit with you. Mm-hmm. But trying to get a checklist of how to, now there's some basic things, right? Or can people help with the yard? And we have food and all, all those things. You've been down here. Mm-hmm. But the temptation is to try to make this suck less. And you really can't. Yeah. Your wife and your best friend is real sick.
My problem is I work 500 miles away from where I live.
And that's where the numbers are going to be important to me. If this is, my wife's got 3 months to live, that job can take a hike because I'm going to take every second of my wife and my time left, and we'll figure that other stuff out.
That's what I've been trying to do.
If this is a 5 and 10 and 15 and, hey, things are looking up, the numbers are good, and it was stage 4, but we actually caught it, and, then we're going to talk to family. We're going to have a whole different conversation. That's why getting a true update of where your wife's health status is. And Ken, and again, Tony, if I'm you, I'm looking for a job closer to home.
Absolutely. Are you? What happens if you walk today from this job financially? What happens?
I have virtually no debt. I own everything I have except for got one vehicle that's financed, but everything else is.
Do you have health insurance?
Everything. No, okay. I don't. My property and all of my other vehicles are paid off, but my problem is I don't have a nest egg.
Right. So my point is, how many days or weeks could you go without a paycheck?
Probably a month.
Okay. So John's right. We've got a situation where I'd want to find out from the doctor best guess, how much time your wife has. And you've got to look at that and go, I'm 500 miles away. I'm not seeing her as often as I need to. I've got limited time with her. However, we also can't do anything that's going to set you behind and create financial havoc in the midst of dealing with tremendous grief. So if it's me, I'm calling everybody I know. I mean, this is next level proximity principle. I'm going, my wife's dying. My current job is 500 miles away. I want to be with her every day. I've got to keep working. I'll do anything. I'll take a 20% pay cut, 30%, whatever you can do. But this is an extreme time that I don't think you'll regret this. But you've got to bring in some income. So, yes, John's right. I am doing everything in my power. Like, my life depends on it to get a job locally to where I'm there with my wife and I'm one phone call away from being next to her. I think that is your number one priority right now so that you're around her. And then to John's point, don't do this alone. John, I think that even in times of peace and calm in our lives, the most underrated question that few people use is, will you help me?
Yeah. Can you give me some help?
But in times like this, I find that we've seen this in our country and certainly around the world. I think politics goes away. I think religion goes away. When there's times of crisis, I just still believe in the human spirit that they'll step up and go, gosh, we got to come around Tony.
Yeah. And it is often incumbent on Tony to say, hey, I need some help.
That's my point. Right. The question that doesn't get asked, even in good times, is, will you help me?
And more specific, here's what I need.
Exactly.
Right? So, Tony, I want you to reach out to a buddy today. I want you to take a white pad, and I want you all to meet at a local coffee shop today. And I want him to walk alongside you as you map out, here's what we need. Here's a game plan for job prospects. Who do we need to call? Who's got food? Who's going to show up at our house with pizza this weekend? And then I want you to set up some time to go meet with your wife and her doctor, and you get some real clear answers about how much time you got left and what's next. We're praying for you, brother, and we love you. Keep us in the loop.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Stop Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure, and I have, or pick the wrong color, I'd probably do that, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Today's question, John, comes from Patrick in Cleveland. I'd love to hear Ken Coleman's thoughts on the difference between nepotism and the proximity principle.
Ooh, Patrick Byrne.
Yeah. In both cases, the end result is getting a job due to your proximity with someone who can get you that job. But it seems like nepotism has a negative connotation. All right, you can weigh in on this because you got a lot of background on this.
I've had this question.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let me first frame proximity principle, and John and I will have some fun teeing off on this one together. So the proximity principle came out of the Ken Coleman Show, which is part of the Ramsey Network. Where I took enough calls where I was trying to help people realize, listen, if you get around people that are doing what you want to do, pick the career, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. In order to do what you want to do, fill in the blank, you got to be around people that are doing that and in places where that work is happening. And so it's a very simple little principle that ended up becoming a best-selling book, but it was just advice on the radio show initially. And so the idea here is that when I'm around the right people and when I'm in the right places, John, that's where opportunities come. I don't have to kick doors down. That's a romanticized motivational poster kind of thing. Right. Well, it doesn't work that much. Most of the time you kick a door down, you get arrested.
You go to jail.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the idea is let's get around people that are doing it. I'm going to be able to learn. I'm going to be able to get some experience, and I'm going to meet more of the right people when I'm in the right places. And then I'm gonna learn from the right people some other places I need to get into. So that's the proximity principle. So now we're talking nepotism.
Yes.
So my take on this, John, is the proximity principle and nepotism, well, they're not the same thing. Okay. And nepotism, sure, does have a negative connotation in the marketplace. Well, you got the job because it's your daddy, or you got the job because your uncle, and all that kind of stuff. However, it doesn't always have to be negative. And we've seen that in a lot of family-owned businesses that we at Ramsey Solutions, Entree Leadership, our business division, overwhelmingly dealing with family-owned businesses. So I would separate those two, Patrick. Look, getting in proximity to somebody who's not your family, that's a different angle. Obviously, you have, what do you call it? Natural born proximity to family, but that's not the same thing. I mean, family's family, and if you earn it and if it's handled correctly and everybody's wearing their employee hat, not relationship hat in the office, then you should be able to avoid it if you're bringing it, or if said person is bringing the heat.
Yeah, so 100% of my jobs, professional jobs, since I've been out of college, have been through a relationship.
Right.
You got to have the skills, you got to have the credentials, you got to show up and be excellent in your work, but it's because I had 1 or 2 or 5 advocates who knew me and said, that guy, I'll vouch for that guy.
That's right.
Or I've worked on a challenge behind closed doors with that guy. How do you keep somebody from looking at the proximity principle and beginning to ROI human interaction? You and I both know you can smell that a mile away. When somebody comes up to Ramsey Solutions and says, my dream is to be on the radio. How did you do that?
Yeah.
Those conversations are one of my favorite things because you dig into why people want to do what they want to do. Yeah. Then suddenly when it shifts, and it does occasionally, not always, when occasionally it shifts to, so hey, I hear you got an opening. Could you go over there and if I put you down as a reference?
It's a really good question.
Right?
So the proximity principle is a principle.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
The very word principle means This is a truth. This is what happens. So in order to do what you want to do, be around people that are doing it, get in places where it's happening. What you don't want to do is become an opportunity vampire. And that's what we see. People coming, and they're coming in, and it's all about, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Connection.
Yeah.
And they leave people, they suck the blood right out of them.
Feel it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's gross. It's smarmy. We can see those people coming a mile away. That's not what we're talking about. Well, we're talking about the proximity principle is a principle, but when I'm around the right people, and when I'm in the right places, I must be humble. I must be humble. I'm not here to prove. I'm not here to convince you that I am God's gift for this position. So there's humility there. Second, we want to be hungry and saying, I want to learn. I'm not here to sway you. I'm not here to get a connection from you. I'm here to learn from you.
Love it.
And when you come in it that way right there, now the person that you are engaging with, connecting with, feels value.
Well, yeah.
I get the question all the time, Ken, I can't offer any value to John Deloney. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Let me tell you how you do it. You go, John, been really impressed with your journey. Kind of read your story. I've watched your journey at Ramsey Solutions. I love what you do. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I think content may be in my future, but I'm not sure. Can I ask you a couple things? How do you move from this to this? And they're all questions about your perspective and your experience on their situation. That's insight. They're not asking for a connection. They're not asking for a favor. They're asking for insight, which I would call knowledge, and they're asking for wisdom maybe. Hey, John, I got a couple things here. You're a professional in this area.
Yeah.
What do you think would be the best route? Do you not feel valued
Of course
in
I
that
do.
moment?
Somebody
Why?
comes and tells you what you're putting out in the world is good. Your story and your journey is worthy. Yeah, that makes me feel awesome.
Yeah.
After a week of just grinding it out and recording and show after show and book edits and all that, someone says, "Hey, I'm watching," and you. Yeah, that's a lot of it.
And so here's what happens at the end of that conversation, folks. Just to put a bow on this. So what John's talking about is right. So when I approach John that way for insight and wisdom, I can say to him, hey, what do you think are some next steps? Who are some other people that you think I should connect with? What are some places that maybe I should get into? And a place could be as general as a webinar online, a conference, a clinic. And so when I ask that of John, I'm not asking John to network for me or do me a favor. I'm asking John for his, hey, who are some other right people that I should connect with? And only then does John go, here are a couple people, and oh, by the way, I'll make the connection.
There you go.
That's how that works.
Yeah. Let me email that in. I like that. And
so you can't turn people into commodities for connection.
It's gross.
That's why I hate the word networking.
Yeah.
I like the word connecting.
Yeah.
Because connection to me, and the way I look at it is, there's a spirit.
Yeah. Well, and tell me if I'm wrong on this opinion. If somebody comes in and says, hey, you only got this job because you know so-and-so, my impulse is to say, so? Is that a wrong impulse?
Well, I think it's an incomplete impulse because I think the answer I know what your process was. I didn't know you before you came here, so I've watched this, and it wasn't just because you knew somebody here. That was the reason you were brought to the table.
Right.
But you got hired on your merits.
There you go. So
I'd go,
how do you respond to that question?
You're wrong, but thanks for playing. That's what I'd say.
Such a Kid Coleman answer.
Well, but that's true, though.
No, it's awesome.
Hey, guess what? I'm going to tell everybody right now. I knew Dave Ramsey for 10 years before I ever worked at Ramsey Solutions.
That's the longest Ramsey Solution interview ever.
But I did not get the job because I knew Dave. I didn't.
Yeah.
So I got the job. I got the job because he had a position, and Dave said, hey, we got a position we need filled. It includes this, this, and this.
We think you can fill it.
We've been talking about you. We're interested to know if you're interested in that position. It was not a Ramsey personality, by the way.
Yep.
So that's garbage.
Yeah.
And I would say to them, it's the old, you ever seen a turtle on the top of a fence post? That turtle didn't get up there by himself.
That's exactly right. None of us did, right?
None of us. So relationships are the currency, folks. Connections with people are the currency for success. You're not going to get anywhere on your own.
And
good luck.
You got to show up and be ready to rock and roll when you get there, right?
But again,
they won't carry you very far.
We can't be relationship vampires walking around going, hey, can you introduce me to this person? I'd be like, go pound sand. You didn't even say hi to me. You didn't even ask for any advice. You just want me to open up my Rolodex that I busted my butt to create for you? Go outside and dance in traffic. That's what I think about that. That's crazy. But people do that.
Yeah. Well, and I always, I tell people a lot when they say, hey, would you write me a recommendation letter for this? I tell folks, my son looks exactly like me. I gave him his face and my name. That's all I've got to protect him from. And so I'm real particular about those type of things, right? Because it's all I got, right?
Yeah.
So let's make relationships for the sake of relationships.
Yes.
Come what may.
Yes. Listen, if you're great at connecting with people, whether on purpose or not, good things are going to come your way. That I guarantee. All right, let me tell you what else is coming your way. More of your calls and The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. We're talking life. But before we get back to the phones, oh my goodness, we got an epic 2-day sale, John, that ends today. So I've got to tell you about it so you can jump in on it.
It's not epic. They're giving all our stuff away.
Well, you know, it is steeply discounted, no question. Oh, my goodness. We're running this epic 2-day sale that ends today. I'm looking at this. That means you can get up to 80% off books, bundles, and envelopes and give a life-changing gift. I know this, John. Our kids need shoes.
They do.
I don't know if I like these prices.
We have to sell a whole bunch more now.
Yeah, we do.
Because Dave's being so generous.
Oh, boy. So, hey, it is springtime. That means it's graduation, wedding season. So these are some great, really steeply discounted gifts. And so we want you to take advantage of these sales opportunities. Here's what we got. Audiobooks starting at $5. Are you kidding? I was in the booth for 3 days, James. $5 for 3 days worth of work? That's an incredible deal. The starter envelope for budgeting, $5. Bundles up to 80% off. That's multiple books, folks. And then the updated Ramsey Plus Marriage Bundle, which now includes the new Know Yourself, Know Your Money assessment. Use this opportunity to give like no one else. You may change someone's life with a very, very good gift. Shop the epic 2-day sale at RamseySolutions.com/store. RamseySolutions.com/store. Please buy more of mine and John's books, please. We would appreciate that. We just, it's all going to the kids. It's all going to the kids. We won't take a dime
coming
of it.
to me. My kids aren't getting it.
Okay, good. I appreciate that honesty.
I'm just kidding.
888-825-5225 is the number. Austin, Texas is where we go next. Jay joins us there. Jay, how can we help?
Hey, Ken, big fan. I listened to your audiobook in January, and probably 200 applications and a couple dozen interviews later, I had 2 job offers that I'm
way to go. Yeah, I like that story, John. See, that's not a glamorous story. That's grinding it.
Yes,
and I love that. Good for you, Jay. How can we help?
Yeah. So I'm actually a couple hours south of Austin. I'm 2 hours away from Houston and 2 hours away from Austin.
Okay.
So the offer for Austin is it's going to be around the mid-80s. Plus, they're saying uncapped commission, but I have a friend that I used to work with that works for this company, and she said the realistic average is more like $10,000 to $15,000 a year in commission.
Mm-hmm.
And the position in Houston is it's around a 55 to 60K base, and it's true uncapped commission. I actually used to work there. It's my first job out of college. And, I saw people make $250,000 there after a couple of years.
Okay.
So I have a recruiting background. I'm in sales now. And I'm going to have to relocate either way. So the number one objective I have is to replace my wife's income. So we work together.
Mm-hmm.
And once I do that, it'll be in recruiting, obviously. And from there, I can't figure out which one I want to take. Go to the company that I used to work for, where I truly could make uncapped commission. They've already told me that they would let me work remotely from home until I make enough in commission to replace her income.
Okay.
Versus if I go to Austin, I'm making that base right away, which would replace my wife's income. And then, from there, it's just, how much commission can I make?
Yeah. Okay.
Austin is more expensive.
Way
for the cost of
more
living.
Expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like the kind of North Austin areas that we're looking at.
Way more expensive. Yeah.
So if I got these numbers right, your wife's making what, 15 to 20?
So I make around 58. She makes like 33 and a half.
Oh, I see. So you got the combined number. Okay, I got you.
Right.
Yeah. So anytime I get a call like this on the Ken Coleman Show, I never believe someone, not because I think you're being dishonest, but I know that there's a leader in the clubhouse. That's a golf term there, right? There's one of these, Austin or Houston, that's what we'll call them. One of these is the leader in your head. One is in your heart. Maybe there's a separation. Maybe it's both. I want to know what's the leader right now. Before you call today, what's the leader?
Can I guess before we do this?
Well, no, because it takes away from what I want him to do. I'm trying to get him to say.
I'm going to write down my guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually fun. Yeah, so
I'm writing down my guess.
I'm watching right now in studio. John is writing down, show me the answer so that we have some integrity. All right, John has predicted. All right, what do you?
Are you asking the leader for me or for my wife?
For you. Your wife's not on the phone. I can't help her. All right, what's the leader?
For me, it's the one I know can make true uncapped commission, but it's a smaller base.
So it's Houston.
Yeah.
John wrote down Austin.
I wrote down Austin.
Yeah.
See,
I can't believe.
Because you're about to take the Austin job, aren't you?
If I get the offer, yeah. I'm expecting to get it either today or Monday. I actually flew back from California. They flew me there to interview me.
So wait a second. Wait. You called in, and Houston's leading for you, which is why you said my answer, my wife's answer. John predicted Austin. Maybe he knew something I didn't know, that the wife wants to go to Austin.
It sounds like you're not asking a job question. You're trying to get me and Ken to join your side so you can gang up on your wife.
Why does your wife want to go to Austin?
And why do you hate me and Ken?
I know the answer, but I want you to tell us. Why does she want to go to Austin?
It's actually changed. At first, her choice was to take which one makes the most money. Well, off the bat, it's Austin, but down the road, it's going to be Houston.
I know.
And then now it's changed because she thinks that and I know it too. The schools are better in Austin. It's just the area we would be in is a lot nicer. But again, the cost of living is so much higher.
You will eat
my property taxes would almost triple.
Yeah, your cost of living evaporates any sort of financial headway.
And the reality is, you're talking about mid-80s, so let's call that 85,000 is what you told us the base would be. And you've talked to a friend who tells you a realistic number that you're probably capped at 15. So that's going to put you right at $100,000. And you're capped.
Yeah, but the good thing is about that company, though, it's a fast-growing startup out of Silicon Valley, and all the people that are in leadership that I've interviewed with, they've been promoted 2 or 3 times within the past 3 years.
Great. Okay, so here's where we stand. I've taken this call so many times.
I know you have.
It's hysterical. So here's the deal, Jay. There's not a right or wrong answer here. John?
Just go hit the guy in the mouth and be happy with it.
So this is a relationship. This is a relationship decision. And Houston is more money. But then Austin's got all the things. The wife likes it. Austin's got its flair. Austin's got the nice schools, all the stuff that Austin has. And
that you can't afford on $100,000.
That you can't afford, by the way. But that's what Mama wants. That's what Mama wants.
We used to live in Houston, too, by the way.
I know, but listen, just for a moment, would you please forget your wife's opinion? Jay, just for a moment, because this is important. We'll come back. What would you do? Forget her opinion. If she had no voice in it, what would you do?
Go to Houston and make that money.
So you guys got to have a steak dinner and sit down with a couple of pencils and a pad of paper and maybe do it together, or take 2 minutes before the appetizer comes and write down the pros and cons of each and let each other then turn it into each other, John. Now, I'm not the professional relationship guy.
No, I think you're exactly right.
I like them showing each other without talking about it. Here's my pro-con list. Let me read yours and discuss it.
And I want to know if she didn't like who you were at this other company. I want to know if the part of Houston you were in she didn't like. I want to know there's something about the marriage culture that was created when you lived in Houston that she's not racing to go back. And you're remembering all the good parts, and you are a hustler. I can hear it in your voice, and you're thinking 35 steps down the road, and you just want to go where you can get paid. Here's something about she didn't like with you being there.
Is that true? Yes or no? Because we have very little time. I'm interested to know John's answer.
No. I mean, her brother even lives in Houston.
Okay, so here's what I would say.
We have a bunch of family that's there.
So Jay, I'm going to give you some cheat codes that we talk about with video games for this dinner.
All right.
You got to show her, come to the dinner prepared to show her some different areas of Houston that maybe she's not thought of that you guys can afford to live in 2 or 3 years when you're making $250 or whatever. You got to cast some vision on Houston. She's seeing all the things with Austin. Your cons list needs to have all the cost of living, property taxes, all the things on it. But then your pro list for Houston needs to have, we could actually afford to live in this neighborhood.
Schools
and be
in
in
Houston
this
are
school
great.
system.
Yes.
Houston's one of the top cities in America.
You can find what you want to find.
I'd cast a better vision for Houston with that money and see what Mama says. All right.
I love it.
Fun stuff. That's a relationship issue. That's not a professional call. It's
And that's where the Astros are. So I'll
steak
leave it
dinner.
at that.
There you go. Hey, I want to thank my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, beloved Astros fan. I want to thank our producer, James Childs, our associate producer, Kelly Daniel, and you, America. Thank you for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show.
You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 as we talk about your relationships, your life, your money, anything in your life. We're here to walk with you through the whole puppy, the whole burrito. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Melissa is with us to kick off this hour in San Francisco. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I was just wondering how you recommend budgeting for people whose salary or take-home pay is pretty dependent on bonuses.
Okay. How long you been doing that?
I'm in my 3rd year right now.
Okay. You're single?
Yeah.
And what do you make? Total?
So my base right now is $95,000, and my bonus just really depends on performance.
Well, what'd you make last year?
90.
What'd you make? You made 90? I thought that was your base.
Yeah, that's my base, and then my bonus was $60,000.
Okay, so you made $150,000 last year.
Yeah.
What'd you make the year before? Total.
$130,000.
Okay, good. So it's heading up then. That's good.
Yeah.
That means you're performing well on this bonus program. Good for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I've lived on straight commission or an irregular income, being self-employed my entire life. So I've never been able to do a budget with a fixed salaried income. I've never been. I teach people how to do it, but I've never done one. So what we have learned to do is a prioritized spending plan above what the known money is. Now, how often do you get these bonuses?
They're yearly.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're pretty much living on 90, and then this money comes in and you hit the lottery.
Basically, yeah.
So they just cut you a $60,000 check one week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a heck of a week.
That's a woohoo week. Yeah, I like it. My favorite week of the year. Yeah, okay. So, and you can run your household on 90, can't you?
Yeah, rent is super expensive around here, but...
But you're running your household on 90, aren't you?
I am, yeah. But what I've noticed is a lot of my coworkers, they basically go by the rule of spending all of your base salary, and then with the bonus, they save that.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with that part, but I think the budget is fairly easy. We can lay your budget out on your salary, and that's your monthly budget.
And basically, you go on Every Dollar or join Ramsey Plus for a free trial and get the Every Dollar premium. And that's the world's best budgeting app. It's a very, very robust, killer budgeting app to help you spend every dollar of your $90,000 monthly on paper before the month begins in the app. You're going to give every dollar an assignment, every dollar a name. Now, then what are we going to do with the bonus? Well, we're just not going to save that and blow everything else. In your budget, you save and operate your household. Then when you get extra money, in your case, once a year you get this big bonus. Before the bonus comes, I want you to spend it on paper also. Because a month before you get it, you know what it's going to be, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So 30 days from now, I'm going to get $60,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to you can just get a yellow pad out if you want and say, I'm going to spend $60,000 here on paper. Now, by spending it, I mean, we have to allocate for taxes. If they're not taking taxes out, we're going to put some in savings. We're going to be generous with some of it, be giving. We're going to spend some of it on fun.
Any
we're
debt
going to pay some debt down. We're going to hit some of the baby steps that we've been wanting to hit, and some of these other things. But every dollar always needs an assignment on any money before it gets there. Now, if you don't know what the budget is, or let's say you're thinking about this in September before you know what the number is going to be in December, then you would start to just make a list and say, okay, if I don't get as much as I did last year, what's the most important thing I'm going to do? And you prioritize the things on this yellow pad from most important to least important, and you go as far down that list as the money allows you to go. When you run out of money on that list, it should be that you've done the most important things to you before you did the least important things to you, because you had a progressively important list, a list that is listed from most important to least important with a dollar amount beside it. How far down that list can I go? And it can be, I want to take a trip to Europe, and I put a dollar amount beside it. I want to buy a car, I put a dollar amount beside it. I want to pay off this student loan, I put a dollar amount beside it. I want to finish up baby step 3 and have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months expenses, and I put a dollar amount beside it. Wherever you are, whatever your goals are. Now, which one of those is the most important is number 1. And any money that's left over can go to number 2. And any money that's left over can go to number 3. And it's a prioritized spending plan. Now, for those of you that have an irregular income monthly, like, for instance, I grew up in the real estate business, and you really do not necessarily know what you're going to make next month. I mean, you may have some closings in the hopper, you may have some contracts that are coming at you, but you don't know exactly what you're going to make next month. So you really are going to live that list out in the coming 30 days.
So rent, electricity, food.
It starts, if you have 0 that you can count on, if you're 100% commission, like that situation, you'd start with food. And then you do utilities. And then you do food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities. Take care of those first, and then we're going to do baby steps. And then we're going to reduce debt. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. We're not paying property taxes before we buy food. We're going to decide, if I can only buy one thing, what would I buy? And if I can only buy one more thing, what would I buy? And then you list it out like that. And it makes you really prioritize your life.
The psychology of getting a $60,000 check on a Friday, man, you could blow that. And I like the idea of being intentional before you're holding that money.
Yeah, you got to do it on paper before the money comes.
Because it's
gone.
It just would
evaporate. And those of us that were in the real estate business or other straight commission things, we go from buying Cadillacs to having them towed. I mean, it's back and forth. It's all over this volatility, and you have this tendency in that world. Not her, but if you're in that kind of a world, a sales world in particular, you have this tendency to think you can out earn your stupidity. And I tried to out earn my stupidity for years, and I was a lot more stupid than I was talented. So I couldn't do it, and it kept catching me. And
even if you're not stupid, the world is still spinning around you.
There's always something that wants your money.
Somebody else might be stupid and cause yeah.
There's always something coming at you. You can just count on it. It's just part of the dad blame equation. It's how it works. So that's a great question, Melissa.
Love it.
Great question. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you being a listener.
Good for you killing it, Melissa. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a wonderful income. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they will remake your window blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping. And with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey. You know, sometimes I do stuff and I go, "You're an idiot." Like when I mismeasure, I screw up the window blinds, and they remake them for free, even though I'm an idiot. So this is like an idiot-proof guarantee. That's pretty cool.
That's why they call it Ramsey. I'm just kidding. You gave me that one, man.
Oh, underhand pitch.
Yeah.
All right.
So today's question comes from Annalie in Nevada. Annalie writes, "I'm trying to get my boyfriend and I out of debt. I only owe $28,000 in student loans. My boyfriend has almost 8 times more debt than I do, but he thinks you can't make money without spending it. How do I make him see that he's hurting himself?" Run.
Get a new boyfriend.
Run. You can go left to California or right to all the other states, but run. You can't.
So here's a rule of thumb when dating. Do not date people you have to fix.
Yes. Or don't, when you're in a relationship and your thought is, I have to get us to, that's the problem. Because us has to get us to, right?
His job is to initiate being a grown-up. Thus far, he has not done that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And he's not out, it's not rare that people think you got to spend a whole bunch of money to make money. And go, I know that's common, so I don't want to say he's an idiot.
He thinks you can't make money without spending it.
Right, you got to spend money to make money.
No,
right?
he just says you have to spend all the money you make.
Oh, okay.
He thinks he's in Congress.
No, because they spend more than they make.
Yeah, they spend more than they make.
Yeah.
Apparently he does too.
Here, in what you can do, Annalie, is you can sit down and show him math, and you can tell him, "Hey, look, I love you, and you're hurting yourself." The important part of that conversation is one that you're going to have to decide: are you in or you out? And you can't help him, you can't fix him, you can't heal him. He's going to have to be a part of that journey, and you're going to have to decide: do I want to walk with this guy through his journey or not? But you can't get you and your boyfriend out of debt.
No, you can only get you out of debt, and you can show him how he gets him out of debt. So, from a relationship perspective, not a financial perspective. If you were my daughter, and I have grown daughters that are married, I would say you'd sit down with this guy and say, number one cause of divorce in North America is money fights and money problems. The fact that we're not in agreement on this subject is going to end our relationship, because I don't think I can make a life with a guy who can't be responsible with money. And so in order for us to go forward, I'm going to have to see you become responsible with money. I'd be your cheerleader. I can give you some input. I can show you some things to do. I cannot do it for you, nor will I do it for you, nor will we be together long term if you are not engaging in growing up.
And that's a conversation from Annalie to her boyfriend. The conversation Annalie has to have with Annalie is, I'm reading the tea leaves here, but this is somebody who struggles with codependency. This is someone who struggles with an identity that her value comes from fixing other people, and I want Annalie to do her work on herself and grow her value from the inside out. Let that shine to the world, because we need her voice out there. And then she's going to attract people who are not projects and are not puzzles and are not engines who are missing spark plugs. It's just an amazing way people attract what they put out in the world, right?
Let me ask you something. I don't disagree with that. You tend to, it's not the victim's fault that someone is a victim, but there's even been studies shown that a rapist will pick the way someone walks.
You just feel it. Yeah, they are predators.
They're a predator, and they sense weakness. And they sense the body language, in other words. And so, and that's what you're saying. Her body language is she has this tendency to try to fix things, and so she takes in strays, kind of thing. And let's pretend for a second that it's not that.
Okay.
That this is, and we don't know her, but just for the sake of argument with our audience, because we've got a lot of audience in their early 20s, late teens, especially on YouTube. Yeah. And let's pretend that this is a 19-year-old young woman, okay? And maybe she does feel okay about herself, but she just really likes this guy. And before she knows it, she's kind of in love with him. And then he has this problem.
Yeah. And he's a great guy.
Except for.
And
this is not like, normally she would not be taking in strays. Normally she would not be lacking in self-esteem. Normally she would not be there. But she just kind of, this guy's, they've built a relationship, and then all of a sudden she realizes, oh God, this guy's got issues.
So I was.
That's a little different than I'm attracting things.
Yeah.
So because I have a pattern of always, bringing home losers.
Yeah, I read this quote this weekend that I was sitting on my front porch reading, Dave, and I stopped. And it said, sometimes you have to have the courage to break your own heart because it's the right thing to do.
Ooh.
And sometimes you've got to do something so hard. That's the parent that says, you cannot bring drugs back into my home.
Yeah.
That is the girlfriend that says, I love you and you're going to drown us both.
And I'm not going to sign up. I'm not going to sign up for this because this is going to be a long, horrible life.
Right. And so this idea, the courage and bravery it takes to say, I love you and I value my ability to breathe.
But Annalee, if you're that person I'm talking about, not the one John was talking about a minute ago, that you're generally fairly self-confident, you need to know that your desire for love in this particular situation has flipped your language. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Your language says codependence all over it. So let me kind of go back. My boyfriend has almost 8 times more debt than I do, but he thinks you can't make money without spending it. How do I make him see he's hurting himself? I'm trying to get my boyfriend and I out of debt. Yeah. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix him is what I says over and over and over again.
And there's a guy over there with a backhoe digging holes, and you've got your shovel, and you're like, how do I fill it up? And
faster than he can dig it out.
He can dig it faster than you. That's right.
Yeah, you're digging out the bottom faster than you're ever going to get there. So
I want you to put that shovel down and go get some people.
I'll give you a high probability on this, Annalee. As the old guy, that's a walking dad joke. Okay. High probability is that if you are a young woman of confidence and a good self-esteem, that this young man is not going to change fast enough to keep you around. You're going to move on. Because I don't think he's marriage material. I know he's not marriage material today. And it's because John opened up with run. That was his opening answer, was run.
And I like to think of these calls as, what do I do if Josephine comes home from college and says, Dad, I found a guy, right?
Yeah.
And Dave, you may not have experienced this, and that's me being sarcastic. I'm sure you did. But Sheila had people sit down and talk to her. Like, are you sure you know what you're doing with him? Right? Like they would take her out.
I kept sharing away from those people.
Oh, man, they found Sheila. Like, are you sure? And she's like, I'm sure.
Her parents had to be rolling their eyes when I walked in. I wouldn't have let my daughter date me. Not Dave. In a million years.
Oh, man. I don't even want to go down that road. But so there is that, right? But
but Sharon did not take me on as a project.
No,
and I didn't take her on as a project. Right. We were both projects, but we didn't take each other on.
Everybody is a project, right? But yes, Sheila did not get her self-esteem by saying, I'm going to fix John.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just good parenting to run those guys off if you have the opportunity. I'm just like, Daddy, all the boys in the youth group are scared of you. And I went, good. Keeps away two things, wusses and jerks. Don't need either one dating my daughter.
It keeps away everything.
Wusses and jerks. Pretty well. You can put most things in those two buckets.
They're the same bucket.
Well, it's at times, but yeah,
Just run, Annalie, run.
This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is the Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John and Ashley are with us in New Hampshire. It says on my screen you guys are debt-free. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. How much have you paid off?
$75,000.
All right. How long did this take?
11 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
About $105,000 to $120,000.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
We work for your friends at the KGB, actually.
Okay, cool.
Hey, that admittedly took me a second, because if anyone in my life who would actually know the real KGB, it'd probably be Dave. So it took me a second, but I got it now.
The IRS.
Yes.
Yes. The phone calls that I take with individuals that owe balances are a lot different now. I educate a lot now.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very good. So tell us your story. What kind of debt was this?
We had one auto loan, but it was multiple upside downs wrapped into one, so it was like a $650 payment for one auto loan.
Ooh.
Yes. Student loans. We financed our bed. We had a Best Buy card for the washer and dryer, and that was it.
The way you said, we financed our bed, so we just kept getting...
I've heard him make fun of people for doing that before.
You financed what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, haven't we all? And so how long have you guys been married?
A little over 3 years.
Okay. So what happened 11 months ago? What was the turning point?
We were on our way to make another bad financial decision. We were going to our credit union to ask about their 40-year mortgage offer, and then they told us that we could sit down with a financial advisor because we were members. So we got an hour, and he said, you guys have a bad debt-to-income ratio, so maybe hold off on that.
Oh, when the bank won't take your money, that's when you know you got a problem, right?
Yeah, so, I went home after speaking with him and, just did what most people do, just checked out videos on YouTube, and the algorithm hit, Dave Ramsey videos, and I don't know, I spent probably the next 2 weeks just analyzing until I finally brought it to Ashley's attention, and she was like, why'd you wait so long? Let's go. Let's do this.
Ah, okay.
Yep. We bought a PU right after that, and it was kind of, hit the ground running.
Just go. Game on. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, the app said it was going to take 20 months, and we did it in 11.
Yeah. Well, that's because you decided to do it all and do it all with a game-on attitude. I'm proud of you.
Don't mess with IRS agents.
Yeah, very well. What was the movie? Men in Black?
They will get it done.
Yeah.
Did you flashy thing me? Yeah.
Oh, man, you guys, that's impressive. So well done. So what do you, now that you did it, now that you're successful, you successfully got out of debt, something Congress can't do. What would you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Budget, for sure. We thought we were only going to have $100 extra a month to put at the debt, and when we did the budget, we found $2,000. that we could put towards the budget without overtime.
Wow.
The budget was, yes, and saying no. We have 3 young kids, so we learned quickly to say no.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't die. They didn't run away. They didn't leave you.
They're not in counseling.
Yeah.
Right. No. They're perfectly fine. They're happy with it. Actually, we explained to them what we were doing, and they loved watching the colors of the car loan, getting higher with us paying it off. They would come in and check every day, and they'd get mad at us if it didn't, go down. So,
turned it into a game. Yeah.
Yes. They were our biggest cheerleaders.
That's fun. Good for you guys. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of transformation happened in the house during this time.
Yes, for sure.
So talk to me about that drive home with your head held low to that husband who's like, man, I got to figure this out, to how's your marriage now?
Well, communication is obviously the big thing. We both work there. I mean, everyone critiques us for or just asks, how do you spend 24/7 with each other? And it's because of the communication, and we tackled it together, for sure. So I am the numbers guy, and I would sit there and crunch, but she just would make it work. She took over with the budget. We'd have the meetings, and she'd sit in there and do the transactions, and so it's just the constant communication back and forth,
the teamwork.
Precisely.
Love it.
Well done, you guys. Very well done. I'm so proud of you. So this is an interesting thing I want to follow the thread through. You meet with the financial advisor at the credit union. He says you have too high a debt-to-income ratio, meaning you is broke, and you come home, spend a couple of weeks poring over YouTube videos. That leads you into Financial Peace University. What do you feel like, looking back on that journey you've been through, was the core message that you got from us that caused you to be able to do this?
To me, preparing for the future, kind of like Dr. John said, me hanging my head down low, how do I figure this out? Well, that was just for us to try to get out of, my parents' home with 3 kids. We were living with my parents, and, I was like, how can I fix this, with what it was my student loans, and, that was one of the biggest problems. But, it was just, pushing through and, looking forward to the ability to set them up, educate them so that they don't make the same mistakes that I do. So that,
so it's kind of like you're more willing to sacrifice when you have a higher calling, something other than just I want to back rep.
Mine was the give part.
Yeah.
Being able to get to the point where I can give back.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me, other than setting my kids up for success. But
yeah. But change your family tree and generosity are non-selfish, noble, higher calling goals versus I want to buy a nice car.
Exactly.
And by the way, you can do both. You don't have to. They're not mutually exclusive. But I want to buy a nice car someday isn't enough motivation to sacrifice. I want to change my kids' lives. You can sacrifice.
The 6-year-old's already saving for a Tesla. Because he's not going to borrow money from the bank, he said. He's going to save for it now.
Well, I like this guy.
When he's 55, he'll have earned that money to afford that car.
He's got like 200 already.
Yeah, he'll have more than Elon has himself, so there you go. I love it. Congratulations, you guys. We're so proud of you. We got a copy of Rachel Cruz's book for you, her latest New York Times bestseller. It's called Know Yourself, Know Your Money. You guys are an impressive couple. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. John and Ashley from New Hampshire, $75,000 paid off in 11 months, making 105 to 120. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
Yes! I think I heard that family tree joining in.
Man,
that's the way it's supposed to be.
The Roots called out on that one.
That's the way the sound. That's the way the sound of a family tree changing right there. When that you get that chipmunk voice going in there with it, that's when you know you're on track, baby.
Man, that gives me goosebumps when I hear the kids yelling.
It's fun stuff. That means they were plugged in. They were dialed in. They knew what was going on. And that's Sophia. They got it on our screen here. Sophia, Jackson, and Grayson were joining in there. So congratulations.
And they got to watch Mom and Dad do hard things, and they learned hey, we can do hard things. And there's something about growing up in a debt-free house. That's a legacy shift. There's something about giving your kid, a car and a house and paid for college. That's cool. There's also something about letting your kids watch you struggle and learn and grow.
The word no.
And then they think,
powerful word.
I can do hard stuff.
Yeah. Mom and Dad can do hard stuff. I can do hard stuff.
Love it.
This is The Ramsey Show. If you ever ask questions like, how much should I be saving? Or how do I get out of debt faster? Or what's the right way to invest? Or I don't know where to learn about money. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to figure all this out on your own. Ramsey Plus will guide you every step of the way. With a Ramsey Plus membership, you get all the digital teaching in Financial Peace University and other classes. You need to really understand money so you can be confident you're always doing the next right thing. The budgeting app, every dollar is pretty amazing. The tools, the guided action steps, they help you make progress on your money goals really, really fast, and that means no more debt. Cash in the bank for emergencies, a real plan for your future, a sense of peace and power around your money. Ramsey Plus helps you get small, consistent wins every day that cause you to have the big results and the lifelong habit change. You get started today with a free trial. Text TRIAL at 33789. Text TRIAL to 33789. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. John is with us in Atlanta. Hi, John. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Sure. How can we help?
Well, Dave, I'm calling in because I'm 27 years old. I've got a stable job with the federal government that pays pretty well. And I'm just kind of looking forward at my future here. And it seems like a lot of the people who stay in this position kind of end up losing passion for what they do. And I'm starting to notice myself losing passion for what I do. And so, when I bring this up with my family, they kind of tell me, you should stick with it. You've got a pension there. You've got ironclad job security. But I feel like if I stay here, I'm gonna go crazy.
How old are you?
I wanted to know. I'm 27.
How long have you been there, man?
2 years.
How many? 2 years?
2.
And what is it you do exactly daily?
Well, I work as a statistician. So basically they try to automate a lot of the things that my organization does now. And so I'm involved with that.
What do you love doing, man?
Well, I do love working with numbers. I do love statistics. It's what I studied in school.
Why is this driving you crazy then?
Well, it's driving me crazy because I just don't, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the people who work here are very passionate about what they do. I mean,
shocking.
But let's don't care about them for a second. What about you? It's okay to be in a room where you like what you're doing, even if the people around you don't.
No, because the problem is that a lot of the times what ends up happening is that if you're passionate, you end up getting extra work, but because of the way the system works, there's not really much advancement. So it just becomes frustrating.
What does the word passionate mean to you?
Passionate?
I've been hearing my students use that word passionate for years now. What does that mean to you?
Well, I suppose that what it means is that sometimes, you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, and it's okay to feel like that sometimes. But if you feel like that day after day after day, then that means that you lack passion. So passion means that, I guess, over a long period of time, you can look back at what you've done and say, I really enjoyed doing that. That really made me feel like I was doing something important.
Good answer. Okay. So what's the downside with you going to work someplace else?
Well, I would lose my job security for one thing.
You don't have any job security. There's no such thing.
You work for the federal government, brother.
Yeah.
They lay people off too. They lay people off too. They're probably not going to go broke, I don't think, but they lay people off too. And your job, you're only as secure as your ability to do things that people want to pay you for.
And if you're a statistician who likes statistics, you're going to be employable for a long time.
In a data-driven world, yeah, this whole world's driven off of data right now, and you're a data analyst if there ever was one, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that
you probably can make twice as much money.
Yeah.
If not 3 times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. It's just a,
security
it's a big decision to make.
Yeah. Security is an illusion, dude.
It's a drug, brother.
Yeah, you need to get out of there. Because, you're 27 years old. Project this out. You're going to be 57, 30 years of doing this. You already sound old right now. I can't imagine how old you'll sound then.
That's a great line. I was trying to think he's not depressed, but you just sound old, man. You just sound 74.
Yeah, can you imagine how old you're going to be when you're 57? Good God.
You'll be 1,000.
In government years.
You're totally right.
In government employee years, yeah.
Hey, listen, the people around you, the people who are giving you advice,
they mean well, but they're just wrong.
They are telling you they love you in the only language they know how, which is you being safe and you being secure, which we know is an illusion, but they're doing the best they can with what they got, and at some point, you've got to get off the drug of safety, get off the illusion of safety, and jump.
So, John, one of my heroes was my grandpa. In the Great Depression, he was 27 years old, oddly enough, and he in the stock market crash, he lost a business and went broke. And Alcoa Aluminum had come to Alcoa, Tennessee, in the hills of East Tennessee, and opened a plant, and he went to work for them. He worked there 38 years and never left because of the fear. Partly because of the fear of having gone broke when he was young, and partly because he was a good man and wanted to provide for his family, and the stability of that was there. In that environment, my grandmother became really dependent upon that security that you're talking about. And humorous story, the first time I sold my millionth book, I've sold about 20 million now, about the time I sold my millionth book, which means I had made millions and millions of dollars, okay, if you can imagine. My grandmother called and still was worried about me running my own little business.
When are you going to get a real job, Dave?
That's exactly what she said. She called up and said, honey, I'm worried about you. When are you going to get a real job? And I had just sold my millionth book. Now, she's sweet, and I understood where she was coming from because I know the story, and my grandpa was my hero, and I understand. He's just one of my favorite people that I ever knew on this planet. I miss him greatly to this day, but and I loved her. I loved her too as well. She's sweet as she could be, but that was her love language from the environment and the situation. The way they had lived life was to say, "When are you going to get a real job?" And she meant well, John, just like the people in your life mean well. But I had just sold 1 million books, so I think we can safely say the data. The statistical evidence is that she was wrong. Okay.
Well, and here's the thing. If you go out on your own and you give it 3 or 4 years and it doesn't work, my guess is
you could probably get a job with the government.
Get your job right back. That's right.
Maybe not that exact one with that exact department or whatever, but whoop-de-doop-de. Right. You have a marketable skill in a data-driven world. Data is the businesses that don't understand, grasp, and harness the power of data in the next decade will be out of business.
Correct.
It's not optional. So you are a highly sought after individual in your world. And so that's I'm telling you, I think you're probably making about half or maybe a fourth of what you're worth, and you're giving it all up in the name of security that's not really there anyway. Get out.
Yeah. You can just I can hear your soul leaking.
Get out.
It's leaking out of your body.
Get out. Yeah.
There's something to be said for, I want you to be safe, and so I want you to drown slowly. Right? I want you to be safe.
Well, I don't think everyone should be an entrepreneur.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think everyone should be on straight commission. I don't mean that. But, you know, you're only as secure as your own ability to land the next thing because you have talent.
Yeah. And people want to work with you.
Yeah. You have talent, marketable skills and personality and so forth. That's your only real security, because everything else is smoke and mirrors. The guy making the payroll, he's scared too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you think you're secure. That's funny. You know? This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer for the Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section, or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jennifer starts off this hour in Washington, D.C. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband will be retiring from the Coast Guard next summer, summer 2022, and we plan to move back home to Colorado Springs. So we currently have $150,000 down for a home to purchase. And the question that we have is, because the market is just crazy right now, and homes are flying, off the market and $20,000 to $50,000 over ask, should we start the process now, knowing that we're not going to pay over asking? Should we start looking at houses now and then buying something and just letting it sit empty if we end up buying something, or should we just wait until we actually get out there? And we also don't have any jobs lined up yet either.
How long has he been serving?
It'll be 22 years next summer.
My goodness. Well, tell him thanks for his service. We appreciate it. And you too. You guys have moved all over the world, hadn't you?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're settling in. It's good. It's a good time of life for you. And you're going to have a night.
And I think I'm also a little bit. I think I have house fever because we've been renting for so long.
Yeah, you got kind of a nesting instinct kicking in almost here. It's like finally I get to get my place, and I'm wanting to do it. And all these people went crazy with their houses after COVID, and they're messing up my plan.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I get where you are. I don't disagree. So the only reason you would go ahead and do all of that now is if you believe that this white-hot, crazy upbid market is going to continue for 12 to 18 months. I personally don't think it's going to continue at this fever pitch. This fever pitch is the other end of the other side of the coin of COVID freezing the entire economy shut because everybody stayed home and they were afraid a little COVID was going to get on them, and so they stayed home. The government told them to stay home. They stayed home, and it shut the economy down. And then all this pent-up demand, it's like the whole economy held its breath.
It's like holding a hose, right?
Yeah, the whole economy held its breath, and it finally sticks its head up above water and goes, And that's what it's doing. And so I think it's, just like if you come out of the pool after being on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, you finally get your breath.
Trying to get your breath. You're hyperventilating almost. And then within 10 minutes, what happens? Kind of everything levels off and, quote, calms down. And that's what I think is going to happen with housing. So I don't think that this hose being pinched and then released, or breath being held at the bottom of the pool and then finally released, is going to be the continued version of the economy for the next 5 years. I don't know net if the house prices are going to end up higher or not. Mm-hmm. Honestly, Colorado Springs has been a very hot market for a very long time. And so it's going to be a tough market in terms of buying a house. But of course, you've got a huge military presence there, spoken on the base there, and so there's always going to be some housing turnover because of that. But it's a highly desirable city to live in, and quality of life, and lifestyle, and everything. And so there's always been a lot of activity around it, as long as I can remember. It's been a strong market, but I don't. And so all of that to say, I think the feelings you're having are natural, especially given your situation. But I wouldn't worry about it. I'd just wait till you get out, go out there, get your jobs. If you rent for a year, to do the right thing, it's not going to kill you. And by then, I think this hyperventilating market is going to get back to a normal breathing pattern of some kind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I think I just need an outside perspective to calm me down.
Yeah.
Your instincts are right on both ends, right? This is it's probably not a good time to buy, and I got to buy something right now, right?
Yeah, I think you accurately diagnosed yourself.
Yeah.
Which is good news. Self-awareness is always the sign of good mental health.
There's only like 18 people in the country that have that, so good for you.
And not many of them are in Washington, D.C., so you're a real rarity.
She won't be for long going to Colorado Springs.
Yeah, she's leaving. Get out while the getting's good. Yeah, thank you for your service again. I appreciate you. I would just be calm, and while all about you have lost their head, you keep your head. And just go, this is what's right. This is what's right.
There's no better place to be when things cool off.
I'm going to have an in-breathe and an out-breathe.
Pile of cash, too,
and a rhythm with $150,000 in my right hand. And I'm just going to sit here and breathe a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good floaty, right?
Yeah, that's a good floaty in the pool metaphor here.
I'm just going to beat this metaphor to death. Yeah.
Just wear it out. All right, David is with us. David's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Hey, David, what's up?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Also, thank you for the EveryDollar app. That thing, we love it.
Well, thank you.
So my question today is, I listen to your podcast all the time. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about LIRPs, LIRPs.
Yeah, because I wouldn't ever tell anybody to do one.
Can you kind of explain? I haven't got a good explanation of how it even works or what the advantage over a Roth, just having a Roth.
Well, basically, it's a sophisticated version of cash value life insurance. It's a life insurance retirement plan, LIRP. And you're using life insurance as an investment vehicle, which is the definition of sucks. And you're using life insurance as an investment vehicle to create your retirement plan. It's a horrible rate of return. It's very inefficient. And but the insurance world, it does the very best they can to sell this garbage and package it up 90,000 different ways. And this is yet one more way they packaged it. And they try to create some kind of narrative or language around it where people will continue to be snuffed by it. But basically, anytime you buy life insurance as an investment, you have a bad rate of return. And often, most often, the way the deals are structured is when you die, the money you have in the investment is built into the insurance. They pay out the insurance and keep the investment. And it just never works out. That's the typical whole life policy. That's a variable life policy. That's an indexed universal policy, a double backflip circus policy. I mean, they just make up crap, and so it's really Anytime you hear investing in life insurance, there's one word you need to remember: run. Buy life insurance for death only. Do your investing in real investments. Don't buy your mufflers at the transmission store.
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more.
John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. If there's one thing we all need to know by now, it's that you cannot invest alone. You need someone in your life who knows the market better than you, is in it every day, and helps you make smart decisions to respond to it. Look, I love do-it-yourselfers. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, but I don't pull my own teeth. And I don't work on my own cars anymore. I don't even know what they do. When I lift the hood, it doesn't even look like anything I used to turn a wrench on 25 years ago. They're completely different. And I would tear up a perfectly good car with that. Or I probably would mess up my dental work were I to do it myself. So I actually bring in professionals. Now, do I take everything that everyone says and believe 100% of it? No, I expect them to teach me. If the mechanic comes out and says you need to spend $1,000, I want to know why. I want to know what's broken and how it works. And what are we going to do to fix it? I don't want just, oh yeah, they just tell you what to do. When a doctor says you have this, and I'm like, well, what's that mean? You're going to have to teach me. The tax guy says you need to do this. I'm like, I don't do it blindly. I want to know why. I'm that little boy, 8-year-old boy. Why?
Oh,
which is how you properly invest, by the way. You don't just throw your money at some dude in a suit or some lady in a dress and go, take care of my money, and then walk out the door and hope it works out. It won't. This is how people lose their money. So you get someone in your corner and you ask why and how, and they have the heart of a teacher, and they will walk you through the right kind of a process. This is how you become wealthy. Oh, and by the way, when you're scared or you're worried about the economy, or the news comes on and says the stock market dropped today, and you're like, oh no, I've just lost all my retirement. No, you didn't. Call and talk to your advisor, and they'll talk to you about the history of market fluctuations and how life really works, and they'll talk you off the ledge and let your little emotions calm down, and then you can continue to invest, because the only one that gets hurt on a roller coaster are those that jump off in the middle of the freaking ride. So you need someone like a SmartVestor Pro with that heart of a teacher and that experience and that know-how to show you what you understand so you can invest and stay invested. Text the word invest to 33789. That's texting invest to 33789, and we'll create a rock-solid investing plan with one of our SmartVestor Pros today. They don't work for us, but these are men and women across the nation in your neighborhood that I proudly endorse. They are trusted by Ramsey. Alicia is with us in Orlando. Hi, Alicia. Welcome to the to the Ramsey Show with Dr. John Deloney. How are you?
Hi. Good afternoon, sirs. Thank you so much for giving me some, hopefully, great financial advice.
We'll try.
I've had a very bad financial history, and it's taken me over 12 years to get out from where I was, and I am fearful of repeating history. So after all my expenses are taken care of each month, I have an additional $4,000 that I don't know what to do with.
Wow.
When we get our,
Look at you.
Yeah.
It's been long to get out of it.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Let's talk about it a minute. What's your income?
I earn $150 every year.
What do you do?
Oh, I work in insurance.
You're amazing. Well done. Very well done. So you said it's been a long slog out of the mess. How long did it take you to get out of the mess?
Just over about 10 years.
Was it an income mess? You didn't have a good income, or was it you did stupid mistakes?
Very stupid mistakes. I was one of millions of people that were caught up in the 2008 housing market, and I bought a house I couldn't afford.
Okay.
And it was ever since then, I could not get out of it, and I'm finally at a place.
When did you get out of it?
I had a short sale, and after filing bankruptcy, 2012 was when I finally got out from under that.
Okay, so from 2012 to today, 9 years, you've been progressively doing smarter and smarter things and have not added any dumb things to the list.
No, sir.
That's pretty good. You got a decade of clean.
It's been hard. I learned my lesson, and I do not want to go there. I've had my car repossessed. I've had...
Not in 9 years you haven't.
No, that was all part of the downfall of the 2008. And
let me tell you what I'm hearing. John and I talk about this a lot. Let me tell you what I heard. The language you're using, you're still living back there in the pain and the shame.
No shame. I'm proud.
You haven't. You ought to be. You ought to be very proud.
Yeah.
You've got a whole decade of being awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm scared.
Well, I mean, that's okay. My wife's scared, and we went broke 30 years ago. She still looks at me like I'm crazy occasionally.
And listen, all that means is your brain's working just fine.
Yeah.
It's seen how bad things can get, and it never wants to let you do that again. And it's willing.
No.
Here's the thing.
It's like you get near the edge of that cliff, you're like, no, you can fall.
Your brain, we will smoke a cigarette to calm down today, and it will kill us tomorrow. All our brain wants to do is take care of us right this second. So as soon as you start seeing this money and you start thinking about it, it conjures up all the old to keep you in the straight and narrow, but that can rob you of joy and fun and all of the rewards of this stuff you've worked so hard for.
What I want you to hear is I'm talking to a lady that makes $150,000 a year and has made good financial decisions for a decade. You know what that makes you? A freaking unicorn. You're unusually awesome.
You're incredible.
No, it's just learning from where I don't want to be again.
Yeah,
That was my only driving force.
Yeah.
Now listen.
And the next phase is to not run from things, but to run to something.
Yeah. And listen, when your brain tries to protect you, it means everything's working great, and all you have to say is, whew, thanks for checking in. I'm doing great. I make $150,000, brain, and I don't make stupid decisions anymore, brain. And then you feel free to share your life with other people, and man, you are off to the races, Alicia.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to assign a task that is future-oriented, because the past has passed, that's future-oriented to these $4,000 a month that you have. And so are you single?
Yes.
Do you own a home?
Yes.
Okay. How much do you owe on it?
Well, I think it's roughly around $420 now.
Okay. And what do you have any other debt?
No, sir.
And you have how much saved?
So I have no retirement savings. I have my 6-month emergency fund of $30,000.
Good.
And
you've heard us talk about the baby steps, where you put at this stage you are at baby step 4, and you put
But this is my first time coming across you guys. I'm sorry, but
it's okay. It's all right. You have your emergency fund and you're debt-free but the house. That brings you to what we call baby step 4, which is 15% of your income going into retirement. 5 is kids' college. I don't think that applies in your situation. And baby step 6 is pay off your house early. So we're going to put 15% of your income into retirement. That's going to be $22,500 in your life per year, about $2,000 a month going into retirement. And then everything above that you have free, you're either going to spend it and or throw it as extra payments on the house to pay off the house early. And my estimation is that as your income continues to grow, you're going to pay off this house in under 10 years from where you are. And you're going to be in a very amazing place with your retirement 10 years from today, because you start saving $22,000 a year, $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, somewhere in there. You're going to be rocking it, kiddo. And so your future's bright because of what you learned in the past.
And I don't want any listener to blow by Dave's wisdom here. When the gazelle takes off, he's running, or she is running from a lion. And when that thread is over, then that gazelle has to go towards friends. It's got to go towards a new watering source, towards new green grass. It's got to go to stuff. Not
away
just keep
from
sprinting and sprinting and sprinting.
Yeah, you can only run away from things so long. You need to run to things. This is the Ramsey Show. Of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Quashira is with us. Hey, Quashira, how are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, John.
Welcome. Where do you live?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Welcome to Nashville. And
Thank
all the
you.
way over here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
Whoop, whoop. How much did you pay off?
$82,000.
Yo! And how long did this take?
26 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
I started at $56,000, and last year I grossed $122,000.
Whoa!
Yes.
You doubled your income.
I did.
In 2 years?
Yes.
Well, first I have to hear how you did that.
Took a leap of faith, and I took another career path, and now I'm a mortgage loan officer. So pretty much.
What were you before?
A premier banker, so doing credit cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you took the private banking knowledge, the premier banking knowledge, and how to serve clients, particularly high-end clients, roll into the mortgage business and go, touchdown!
Absolutely.
At perfect timing.
Well, I was going to say, what a time to get into the mortgage business.
Yeah, and what a time to take that skill set and use it. Well done. Well done. I love it. What kind of debt was the $82,000?
Well, I financed an iPhone security system. I had to pay taxes. I took out a 401k loan to put money down on a house I bought. I had 2 car notes. I had to buy my mom a car. She just had to have a car, right? In my opinion. So small credit card debt. And the largest one was $52,000 of student loans.
God, you just did everything.
Yes.
I mean, you were like normal.
Pretty normal.
Plus a little. A little extra normal on there.
Correct.
Hey, and here's what makes all of this ironic. You worked for a bank.
Yes, I do work for a bank.
And you knew better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, she was telling people to do the same stuff all day.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. So what happened that changed all this?
Yeah, it's a few things. I was talking to one of my supervisors, and just a little Jim, he asked me how much did I have in my savings, and I told him about $3,000 or $4,000 at the time. And he said, how much debt do you have? And I was just counting the student loans, so I said $53,000. He was like, well, you don't have a savings. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I feel like that sparked it. And then somehow, I really don't remember how, but I came across your book. I read it, and then I went down a loophole of watching debt-free screams. And there was this one particular story where this lady, she was single like myself. She made the same amount of money. She paid off the same amount of debt. And I'm like, if she could do it, I surely can do it.
Yeah.
And I took off from there.
And now somebody's watching you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it because you did this.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's You're very inspiring. Very, very fun. 82,000 in 26 months.
Yes.
So you read the book, and then you went down the rabbit hole of YouTube and watched, because there's thousands of debt-free screams on YouTube. I mean, we've got them all on our YouTube channel. We've got 1 billion downloads on the podcast now, and literally. And so people are doing this all the time.
Yes.
And what a good, I mean, you just, like, that just fills up your spirit, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Other people winning, yelling. Yeah, that's cool.
That's going to be me one day.
So what was the first thing you actually did then with this new motivation?
Yeah, I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I like to see things on paper, so I wrote down all of my debt. And my goal was just to be debt-free by 30. I started this when I was 26, so 4 years was plenty enough time. But, of course, our Lord and Savior sped that up. Things just kept lining up where income increasing, checks were coming. I took on extra jobs, etc. So just got after it.
Yeah, I've watched this for years, and I've the metaphor that I've used is that it's like God is sitting up there going, "Oh, look, there's one that's now smart. I can trust this one."
Absolutely.
Because when you're faithful with the little things, you're given more to manage. That's scriptural. And it's almost as if you're walking along and you step up on one of those moving sidewalks at the airport, and now you're still walking, but you're moving even faster.
Yes.
And God just takes you faster than your little legs could take you by yourself.
Absolutely. He let me finish this a month after. Well, actually, the same month I turned 29. So, again, he fast-tracked my plan.
Yeah,
his plans is always better than ours. So
you're faster. Amen. You're faster than you thought you were going to.
Correct.
Yeah. Way to go.
Thank you.
Who was your biggest cheerleaders?
My family is always going to support me, but outside of that, I feel like just listening to your show daily. I mean, I would take road trips. I would listen to it on the plane. I did Uber and Lyft for a time. I would play it in the car. So just keeping you on, and again, just watching YouTube videos kept me motivated with the listeners looking to do what I'm doing.
When did you make the jump to mortgages?
July of 2019, and I finished July of 2020.
Okay, so 1 year of the 2 years was at a potentially higher income.
Correct.
Or a higher income. Certainly I'm sure the mortgage business has gotten better every month that
Absolutely.
You've been doing this, yeah. And you did all this through COVID.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which was great for me. A lot of folks are taking advantage of not having to pay student loans, and I thought it was a great opportunity to pay student loans since all my money is going towards principal versus interest. So of course, again, just gazelle that as well.
Yeah.
Give us a moment you got scared. Things got dicey.
It's a long journey. I tell anyone it's one of the hardest things I ever did. It's simple, and I need simple. A simple plan to follow, but it was one of the hardest things I ever did. So just trying to stick with it and just remembering, hey, this is temporary. This is going to be 2 years, and I'm only 29. I have my entire life to live financially free.
So when it got scary, you just backed up and had perspective.
Correct. Remembering the goal.
Yeah, and remember where I'm going to be, what it's going to feel like
Exactly.
when I get there. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's very strong. That's very strong. You're an amazing young woman. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm sure your mom's proud of you. She came with you. Who else came with you?
Yes, my mom and my sister.
All right.
Yes.
The family is supporting.
Yes.
I like it. That's just very, very cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very well done. So you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Yeah, so stay the course. Again, It may get weary, but just stick with it. You're literally almost probably close to finishing if you're thinking about quitting. Lowering your expenses and increasing your income is a big one. I got rid of streaming services. I went from a $120 cell phone bill down to $50. My folks actually laugh at me because my service isn't that great, but my bill is $50. So.
And I didn't want to talk to you anyway. It's
right, exactly. After talking on the phone with my clients, discipline and sacrifice. Those are the keys for me for getting out of debt.
Yeah. You really. You were so game on. I mean, you identified the target. Like you said I'm goal-oriented, but you really are. That's not just that. That's the way your brain works. And once you set that thing, and then it's game on.
Correct.
And there's no stopping you. And did you learn anything about yourself during this journey?
I would say I can really do whatever I really put my mind to.
You kind of already knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This just gave you more confidence.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, because you weren't lacking in confidence before. No, you got
your mama raised you right. That's awesome.
Well,
you got a presence about you that's powerful.
Yeah. Wow, thank you.
Very cool. Very
awesome.
cool. So well done. Yeah. Well, we got a copy of Rachel Cruz's latest New York Times bestseller, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, for you.
Thank you.
I will add that to your collection of Ramsey books, and you're an impressive young woman. Well done. All right, Quashera from Charlotte, North Carolina, $82,000 paid off in 26 months, making $56 to $122. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
I don't know a lot, but when Kashira has a goal, I'm not going to get between her and that goal.
No, you wouldn't want to.
No.
And I also don't know a lot, but I think you just got a parenting principle woven into that. Mm-hmm. That mom taught that kid how to be that kind of woman.
How to have self-worth, how to have goals, how to know I can do hard things, all of it. You have value, and that means you can go get whatever you want to go get.
There was zero chance that woman's going to be a victim.
Nope. She's good.
Or to adopt a victim position of any kind ever.
There's
just
a brick
do
wall.
Not get in her way.
That's cool. I'm going to run right through it. It's incredible. It's incredible. Kashir's mom, I see you, and you're inspiring me because I'm raising a little girl, and you're inspiring me.
Amen. Yeah. We'll build a warrior princess, baby. That's how you do it. Wow. Pretty incredible. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, James 1:4, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Benjamin Franklin said, energy and persistence conquer all things. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we take your questions about life and about money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Jessica is with us. She's in Wilmington, North Carolina. Hi, Jessica. How can we help?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dr. D. How are y'all today?
Great. What's up?
Great. So my husband and I are trying to figure out if we can afford for me to start my career. So just some quick details. We recently finished baby step 2, working on baby step 3, which will probably take us about 5 more months. I'm going to be going into real estate, so there are going to be some startup costs associated with that, probably around like $1,200 with MLS access and the exams and everything like that. But we will have to figure out getting childcare for our son. So my husband is in the military. We could utilize the base daycare for about $600 a month. But we're wondering if we should essentially pause baby step 3 and save the money for my startup and a few months of childcare to cover that gap in between when I start and when I get my first commission check, or if we should finish up baby step 3 and then save up for those costs associated with me starting work.
$1,800 takes you through the first month. $1,200 worth of costs and $600 worth of daycare, right?
Mm-hmm. That should be right. Yep.
Okay. How old are you?
We are both 22.
22.
Yes.
Okay. And have you had discussions with a real estate broker that you would go to work for?
Yes, I have. I have been in the office several times to speak with them and have interest with a particular brokerage.
Mm-hmm. And what's their training program like, and what do they project before you to make your first sale?
So they have told me, one of the girls who I've been talking to, she said that it took her about 6 weeks to get her first contract, but there are other girls in the office who they've gotten a contract within the first few weeks and some longer. So That is the part.
What is going to be your lead? What's going to be your lead source?
I'm not 100% sure. Still trying to figure out all of those details.
Okay. And what does your husband make a year?
He makes around $40,000 a year.
Okay.
Why real estate?
It's always something that I have been interested in, and I have a passion to help people, and I figure taking my interest and my passion, mixing that together could be a good idea.
All right, let me tell you the full picture of what I'm hearing and what's also running through my head. Okay, and then let's kind of put all that on the table, and we'll start playing with it and trying to figure out what to do. I got my real estate license when I turned 18 years old. I did sell a house 3 weeks later to one of my high school buddies because I was just out of high school, which means both of us were pretty stupid, actually. But I mean, who buys a house from an 18-year-old except another 18-year-old, right? So, or a 19-year-old or something like that. I mean, this is like Happy Days does real estate or something. But but by and large, I sold real estate actively all the way through college from 18 to 22 years old. And then, and I've had my licenses ever since. So what you're saying can be done. I will tell you from experience, male or female, it's an uphill battle to have credibility to get someone to make the largest purchase that they ever make in their life with a 22-year-old. It can be done, but you're going to have people that just simply will not work with you because of your age, because you just don't have credibility, and or they're they like you, you're sweet. Pat you on the head, but won't actually close the deal. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot different than the crusty old, 56-year-old battle axe, right? That just tells everybody what to do and they do it, kind of thing. You're just in a different position in your life in terms of credibility. So you need to know that this is not a hot knife through butter. It can be done,
right?
But you got some uphill stuff. I did it. I think you can do it. I think you should do it. But all of those things contribute to the idea that it's probably going to take a little while before you actually start making money.
Right.
And so that tells me I want your emergency fund in place before you do this. And that also tells me that the fastest way to cause that to happen and the fastest way to have then the money for the licensing and the daycare months before you get money coming in probably means you look at some other form of extra income as a short-term way to get to your goal of being in real estate faster.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you could find something and make $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month as a part-time gig doing something, and you do the work it pays, something Uber Eats, deliver pizzas, I don't care what you do, or they'll hire you to do something at that real estate office for a couple grand. That would even be better. And you just start immediately doing that. And I would rather you do that than work real estate today and use that money to get the emergency fund finished faster, and use that money to get a little bit of a nest egg to go 6 months of daycare and $1,200 worth of upfront expenses, and you're going to have more than that after all. It's probably going to be more like $2,000 by the time you're done. And so I just want you to have all that, and because nothing smells quite as bad as a broke, desperate salesperson.
You're right.
And I just have spoke with so many folks who want to get into the real estate business. That's why I asked you what you want to do, because the napkin math is so great. We just have to sell 5 houses and I get this cut of this price, and honey, we're going to be rich. And it's super flexible, so I don't even have to deal with the little one anymore, right? And everyone who I know, Dave, and you've done it, I haven't, gets into real estate. It is all the time, 24/7.
It's
closing deals at 9 p.m. at 6 a.m.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of accessibility. So not trying to dissuade you. I'm saying you have a higher probability of being in the real estate business 5 years from today if you lay a really cash-strong foundation with an emergency fund and your other cash up front before you go in. it's going to help you with your success probability on this because you do have probably a tough fight. I do think you should do it, and I do think you can do it, but I think it's going to be tough.
I just have worked with a good real estate folks and not good ones, man, and it's such a difference. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is, and they're everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, there's it is truly the Pareto principle. 80% of the business is done by 20% of the people in the business.
Really?
Yeah, and you take that 80%, and it's another 80-20 again, down to where 1.6% are doing the vast majority of the transactions. It's crazy. I mean,
So
you have one real estate agent that's doing 400 transactions a year, and another one does one transaction a year.
Is it just because it's a side gig, or they just don't hustle, or?
Well, no. Some people just reach another level in their career. They're another level in the octane that they're operating off of, and the protein just drips off their eyelids. And it's just, and then. And everything comes together, and some of them build teams to do it with and everything else. So our ELPs we work with all the time, so we're looking at these high octane people, and it's amazing, what can be done. So I don't ever want to be a dream killer, but also don't want a dream turned into a nightmare.
That's especially the little one.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Jessica, good luck with it, darling. Thank you for calling in. Let us know how it works out. I'd love to hear from you when you're a big-time successful real estate agent. John, good show.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. John Deloney. And that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.